Alright, it's July 1st. It's time for another aquaponics update. My automatic fish feeders are still working great. Bubblers are still working great. Tomatoes in here are actually starting to get real healthy looking and take off. Getting quite a few good tomatoes out of here. As you can see, there's still some on the vine ripening everywhere. And I'm starting to trail the tomato vines everywhere. I keep having to lower them, and they'll be trailing. The vine will be trailing back and forth across the floor as they get older. There's even some tomatoes hidden back in the corners back here. These are pretty good sized ones. And my bell pepper plants in the wicking bed are taking off. They were just kind of sitting there for a long time, but now they're like probably 2.5 foot tall plants. I'm gonna figure out what I got to do with those. I never had some bell peppers like this before. It's gonna be awesome if they get to stay here for a few years. They're loving it. The soil level in the wicking bed has dropped like 6 inches. So I'll get to amend that with leaves and whatnot every spring. That'll be a good soil amendment. Back here, it's this little vine coming up. This is actually that passion flower that had started from seed. I transplanted it in here and it's starting to take off now. So every spring, this whole cage through here probably get covered in passion flowers. Believe it or not, there's a lot of bees that come in here because everything that's been blooming. Over here, you can still see my sage plants and everything's taking off pretty well. Kale, it actually started to bounce back, and now it has been eaten again. It's like those caterpillars come in waves. Actually, you keep finding a bunch of chrysalises in here, and there's like cabbage leaper butterflies all over my greenhouse. Goldfish still love the caterpillars. As you can see, all the lettuce that I let go to seed, it's all butter crunch lettuce seeds. As you can see, like if you planted this in your yard and you had like, if you're doing a sepulcher thing, it'd be like a weed, man. It'd be like blowing these seeds all over your property. And even if you harvest the head and you leave the base in there, it'll still send up some stuff and make a lot of seed. So I'm going to cut that out. I saved it just so I could put it on this video. But I'll be cutting that out soon. As you can see, my fig tree cutting is probably about 10 inches to a foot high now. The chives, the little tiny chives that started in the back, is getting pretty good now. They're still blooming for some reason. They shouldn't be blooming this time of year, but I guess they're loving it so much. The garlic chives are back here in the back. Bell peppers, not liking it too much in here, but it's the beginning of the system, so it's not supposed to be doing too well. It's not supposed to have anything growing in here yet. The cucumbers really didn't do too well in here, but I do know that they do like aquaponic systems, so in the future I might do better. Same thing for these chives over here. These garlic chives are actually sending up little flower spikes. There's actually a lot of bees in here all the time, like I said. I've gotten probably like 5 jalapenos off the jalapeno plants. There's another one that's ready to be picked. Strawberries in the bottom, understory are doing alright. My pH is still really high in here. They'll start taking off better probably when I lower the pH. And apparently tree cuttings do better with more acidic soil and water. So hopefully my cuttings next time I do them will do better. And if you've never heard of Mike McGroarty online, McGroarty, I don't know how to say his name, but he has a whole thing, that series dedicated to cloning trees. He says this is the time of year to do your softwood cuttings and do cloning. So I'm actually about to try to do it again. Oh, there's a strawberry right there. But all my lettuce and stuff that was hidden down here didn't do too good. My peach tree cutting died. So maybe if I get some fresh peach tree cuttings right now, it'll do good down there. We'll see. I'm going to try it again. If not, I'm also going to stick some cuttings in a protected spot, probably back here in between the house and the greenhouse, because the sun will be coming for over there and it'll get a little bit of sun before the sun goes behind. So it's like a cool little protected spot back here. I might just put some a little raised bed back here and put a whole bunch of cuttings in that. I've also the next upgrade I've done for my system is, since I was always running out of water for it, my one little 55-gallon water barrel I had on the porch over there, I have now installed a 275 gallon IBC tank water tote. I still haven't finished it. I gotta wrap it so I don't have algae blooms in there, and I gotta finish installing the gutter, but I still managed to catch the very first rain we had, like half an inch to an inch of rain, and that thing topped off. It's like amazing how much it got off that roof. That little roof right there. So I did the math, and I should be able to fill it like 40 something times to 50 something times a year. But obviously most of that rain will be during the winter. If you're going to build something like this, it's way easier than 55 gallon drums because you don't have to daisy chain them together. You can if you want to. You can even stack them and get some serious water pressure. But if you're going to do it, make sure you put some really good reinforcement if you're going to raise it off the ground like this. Because, so say water weighs 10 pounds a gallon, that's going to weigh about 2,700 pounds. So you don't want I don't want my little kids climbing on that and having it fall on them. That's a car falling on them. So it's good to make sure you put that something solid down. I got a nice little hose that'll reach my whole yard. Well, for the most part, it'll reach that garden way over there easily. And so that's about all the update I have on my aquaponics system. Stay tuned for next month. Oh wait, I don't think I told you this. Also upgraded my solar system. This is a thing to protect it right here. It's a low power voltage protection switch. You can actually set the voltage at which the power will be cut off to all the items in the greenhouse. It's actually pretty important and smart idea to put in here, so you don't have to worry about coming here and cutting everything off. So I set mine for like 12.1 volts, which means I'll have like 60% of my battery left when it shuts off. And then I have my actual air pump still hardwired straight to the thing, which is 5 watts, which would take forever for it to drain it the rest of the way. So, but all this is going to end up being, I'm going to put this in the battery, the charge controller, all that's going to end up being on a box right underneath the solar panel on that pole. And then I'll just run a couple of wires straight into the greenhouse to power everything at some point when I get a chance. And one last thing, I just wanted to say that if you remember, if you watched all my videos, you know I planted these carrots way back when I started the lettuce this last fall or spring. So carrots and other root crops are not supposed to do good in wicking beds. As you can see, this carrot's not as long as it could be, but it's still a carrot, and it still looks happy. Let me get this over here. And it still tastes like a carrot too, so. That one's obviously split a little bit. It's not a perfect carrot, but this will totally work. She's gonna help me pull the leaves off. Thanks, Lucy. It's my 6-month-old little puppy here, little Labradoodle. And also want to add that I actually tested the water flow on this thing. I opened it up since it's full of water now and poured it into a 5-gallon bucket and counted 1001, 1002, all the way up to 1005. And even though I got sprayed with water and a lot of it was coming out, it took about 5 seconds to fill up a 5-gallon bucket. It's about a gallon a second flow. So it's a decent amount of flow. The only thing that's going to restrict that is obviously the hose. That'll slow it down.